the Geneva time. But seeing that others are still joining, if you don't mind to wait one more minute, and we will promptly start at 1:02. Thank you very much. All right. Good day and good evening again, everyone. Welcome. This is the Minamata Online National Reporting Top-Up session. We greatly appreciate the time you're taking to join us today and catch up and learn more on the national reporting front. But before we begin, I just wanted to acknowledge that several staff members from our team are joining us. If you guys can turn on your camera, especially those are in the background, Shariful will be assisting us on the technical side, as well as Maya. And then you can see Senior Policy Coordinator Sako Toda and our Communications and Knowledge Management Officer, Ana Garcia Sanz. They will introduce themselves when they take their turn. So they're Shariful and Maya. Thank you, everyone. Now, Shariful, if you can kindly move to the next slide before we officially begin, and I hand off to Aisaku. Just a couple of housekeeping notes for everyone. So we will try our best, time permitting, to open the floor for questions. And if that happens, please raise your hand. Raise your hand icon to identify yourself. And once you're done, the moderator, once you're done with your question, please unmute yourself and lower your hand icon. But for the most part, please type your questions in the chat box and send to everyone so we can collate and respond to it in order. And if you need any technical assistance, please put your message in the chat box and send it to the host or co-host, and we will try and help you resolve any technical issues that you may encounter during this session. Kindly note that this session is being recorded and broadcast live on YouTube. So, and then lastly, please help us improve the experience in these types of online sessions by filling out the survey at the end of the webinar. With all of these housekeeping notes aside, I'd like to turn the floor now on to my colleague Aisaku for the opening remarks. Aisaku, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Richard, and warm welcome to the participants to this top-up session on national reporting. My name is Eisaku Toda, Senior Program Management Officer in charge of scientific technical issues in Minamata Convention Secretariat. And the Conference of Parties had its 6th meeting here in Geneva earlier this month from the 3rd to 7th of November. We are currently putting together the final decisions and report of the meeting. But while doing so, we decided to convene this Minamata online session in the run-up to the December 31st deadline of the national reports pursuant to Article 21 of the Minamata Convention. COP6 took a decision, MC 6/13, on national reporting, in which the COP welcomed the high rate of reporting, 86% by parties for the second short national reports for the reporting period of 2021 to 2022, and acknowledged that there is room for further improvement in the reporting rate, invited parties to achieve a high rate of reporting for the second full national reports due by the 31st of December this year, and requested parties to submit their reports in a timely manner. National reports form the basis for COP discussion. Much of the information in COP documents come from national reporting, and the number of COP6 decisions refer to national reports. For example, information from national reports on illegal and illicit supply and trade of mercury alerted COP to take a decision to support parties in addressing such supply and trade. National reports are mentioned as source of information for the intersectional work on dental amalgam, cosmetics, ASGM, review of financial mechanisms, and capacity building. National reports are also the basis for the Implementation Compliance Committee and the effectiveness evaluation. COP6 decision on the effectiveness evaluation emphasized the importance of timely submission of national reports so that the information from this reporting round be compiled, analyzed, and synthesized for the effectiveness evaluation group, which will work to evaluate the effectiveness of the convention throughout next year. This session is to support parties in submitting national reports in a timely manner. Please use this opportunity to ask any question on the submission of national reports. The recording of this session will be made available on the website to further support the parties. We look forward to receiving the reports and being able to analyze the reports for ICC, EEG, and COP7. Thank you very much. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Eisaku, for those welcoming remarks. Sharpal, if you can please post the next slide. I'd like to briefly give an overview to the participants on what to expect for this session. So the slide in front of you, you will note we will be covering 6 major items or 5 major items in addition to not including the Q&A. So first, we will tackle the reporting obligations under the Minamata Convention and timelines. Second, how to access the online reporting tool or the ORT to submit the second full national reports. And then third, the role of the national focal points, followed by Decision 5/13 on the reporting format amendments and relevant COP6 updates on national reporting. And then lastly, at least on the major substantive topic, we cover guidance on completing the national reports. So with that, and then of course Q&A, and as I mentioned, we will try to cover and open the floor for questions later on if we have time. But for the most part, we urge you to please write your questions, put it in the chat box throughout the session so we can compile it and cover it and respond to your questions during the Q&A session. Okay, next slide, please. So let's jump right in, reporting obligations and timelines. So the slide in front of you, I'll call your attention to the left side, the left part of the slide. On Article 21, Paragraph 1, you will note that the convention requires each party to report to the Conference of Parties through the Secretariat on 3 items. The measures parties have taken to implement the convention. They are also required to report on the effectiveness of such measures and possible challenges in meeting the objective of the convention. To your right, you will find the major milestones covering national reporting, starting with Decision MC 1/8, which define or prescribe the timing and format of the reporting. You will note that the convention has 2 unique reporting cycles, one short, which covers every 2 years with 4 recurrent questions, as well as a full report, which covers a reporting for 4 years, period of 4 years, with 43 multi-tiered questions. Decision MC 3/13 established the guidance for completing the national report. MC 4/8 clarified 4 questions or 3 questions in the reporting format. and MC5/13, which represents the most major review and amendments to the reporting format, which you will note 19 reporting format questions were amended, and also the adoption of the guidance on national reporting. Just recently on COP6, 6/13, major point, at least on worth noting for you on national reporting, is that the COP gave the Secretariat the task to integrate relevant decisions adopted by the COP at the present and future meetings into the guidance for completing the national report for a review by the parties as well during the intersessional period. We will cover other COP6 updates in the respective sessions or sections of the session, and I won't further elaborate at this stage. Next slide, please. Here you will find our path to the reporting cycles. Let me just sort of call your attention to the right corner of the slide. So this year marks this by 31 December 2025, as Aisaku has already mentioned. We have the submission of the second full national report, covering the period from January 1, 2021 to December 31, 2024. And the next reporting cycle will be the short reports, which will cover the period of January 1, 2025 to 31 December 2026, and to be submitted by 31 December 2027. You will note at the bottom of each of those reporting cycles is the COP number or the meeting number, and then which indicates when these reports will be discussed by the Conference of Parties. Of particular note, the second full national report will be covered in COP7 this coming 2027. All right, next slide, please. Now, just a quick note on where to find the decisions, the relevant decisions of parties. Click on the website. So this slide shows you the menu on meetings, and then you will see the relevant COP meetings to the left, and then you will be taken.
Hello, everyone. It seems that we lost our colleague Richard, but I will follow up because mine are the next slides. Richard was mentioning about where to find the relevant information on the website. Richard, are you back? Okay, if not, we will continue then with the next slides, which is about accessing the online reporting tool. As Richard mentioned, I'm Ana Garcia, and I'm the Communications and Knowledge Management Officer. And this section is more about a recap of what we covered in the previous sessions on national reporting, and also like to help those parties that have not been able to join yet the ORT, the online reporting tool, to make it easy for them to access and complete their reports. If we move on, so far we have 47 parties that have already logged in the system for the second full national reporting cycle. And this means that it's so far 31% of all parties that have to submit their national reports. Therefore, we really encourage you to take your time now and start completing the national report by the end of this year. Moving on, in terms of how to access the ORT, you will have received as national focal points your individual and personalized login credentials. So with the URL that you receive with those credentials, you need to log in with the username and the password. And the first thing you will see is a screen with all the instructions, access to the reporting guidance and the user guide on the online reporting tool. But also you can check your previous reports and of course start reporting. Moving on, the next section, oh no, before you report, one important thing to convey is that the national reporting is possible in the 6 UN languages. So on the top of your screen, you have a language selector, so you can choose to report either in English, French, Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, or Russian. The system has been built to automatically save your work, but also we encourage, just for double security, to click a save draft on the below part of the screen every time you complete a section. So moving on. And yes, this is the first part, which is part A, with about the information on the party. This screenshot that you can see is a sample and is empty, but this information will be automatically pre-populated according to the information the Secretariat has received from parties on their national focal points. And then the next one is actually about the questions, which is part B, and it's organized in the different articles. One key aspect here is that you don't need to start with Article 3 and then follow with Article 4. So the system has been developed to allow you to start at any given point of the reporting. And also other key aspects that I wanted to draw your attention is that under each question, you have 2 links. One is the link to the actual paragraph of the convention text, and the other is the link to the specific reporting guidance question. This has been developed to help you and guide you through all stages of the national reporting. Moving on. Another aspect that you will find is that there is an automatic logic depending on your reply, because some questions are have this pipeline depending on what you replied. So the options will be displayed according to your reply. So you don't need to bother if do I have to reply this or not, because it will be automatically pipelined. Next one, please. Then in terms of technical support, the Secretariat is the team that you see here is ready to support you. There's a link on the right sidebar. So if you click on contact support, we will receive an email and we'll be ready to support you on any technical matters, also substantive aspects if you need for completing your report. Also, on the top of the screen, if you click on your account, there's a button then to log out to the system to ensure if you are working on a computer that is not your computer and you want to log out the session, there's also this option of logging out. Moving on. So once that you've completed all your report, which in this case it's quite comprehensive, there's a button called preview that allows you to review all the replies. And also if you think that something needs to be edited, there's you can click on edit, as you can see on the screen, and it will drive you directly to that question, so you can edit, amend the questions, and then go back to the preview section. Before submitting, if you want, you can click on print and get a PDF copy of the report. And of course, what is really key is that by the end, you click on submit, and hopefully it's by the 31st of December to be committed with this obligation to the convention, and you will receive an acknowledgement email from the Secretariat. Next one, please. Once the report is submitted, the Secretariat will review it to check for completeness, including any missing information or attachments, or if some responses need clarification. And once the report is considered final from both sides, from the national focal point and the Secretariat, it will be published on the website, and a confirmation email will be sent to the national focal point. And the next one, this is my final slide, and this is just a kind reminder to complete your full national report by the 31st of December this year. This is a key obligation and also helps the convention move forward on for like very other like key processes like the implementation compliance committee and effectiveness evaluation. So wishing you all the best with your national reports. I pass the floor back to my colleague, Richard, if he's here. If not, maybe Saku, you will take on.
Thank you, Anna. There seems to be a technical problem with Richard's connection, so I think I will take over until he's back. So the third part of this session is about the status of national focal points designation. The national focal point is very important for the national reporting, and the national focal point is provided for in Article 17 for the information exchange, but also COP decided to give the national focal point responsibility for national reporting. So the national focal points should have received the login credentials for the online reporting tool, and the parties may also indicate an additional contact officer for ORT for the purpose of compiling and completing the national report. So please check to ensure the designated national focal point is updated, and for parties that have designated more than one national focal points, please confirm with the Secretariat who among the designated national focal points will be submitting the national report. This confirmation should have done if you have received the login credentials, but if you cannot find login credentials, please immediately contact the Secretariat and make sure that the one of the national focal points receive the login credentials. This is very important. The next slide, please. So the state of national focal points, most of the parties, 150 parties, have nominated national focal points, but if you have not nominated national focal points, please immediately do so using the form that is available from the website. The next slide, please. So, the national for the nomination national focal point, the form for nominating the national focal point is available from the convention website, and the link is indicated here. So the form should be completed and returned under cover of the official nomination letter from the government official contact point of the United Nations, UNEP, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or the permanent mission to the UN in Geneva, or this may be in Nairobi or New York, but the permanent missions to the Executive Secretary of the Minamata Convention. And so please note that self-nomination cannot be considered. So the nomination needs to come from the official channel as indicated here. The next slide, please. So as I said, the ORT login credentials was sent to the 5th of March earlier this year. If you have identified the one single national focal point who have who is responsible for the national reporting, and if that nomination was made later, this date may have been a bit later, but all the parties should have received the login credentials, and the that message has contained the URL of the ORT and username and password. So if you have not, if you cannot find the credentials, please check your spam folder. So the next slide is from. So now I'm going through the reporting format. The questions in the national report focusing on the amendments made at COP5 2 years ago. So the reporting format includes part A, B, C, and E, and part B includes 43 questions. But I'm not going into details of all the 43 questions, but I am focusing on the new amendments made 2 years ago, which is indicated in red. So this slide is the list of the reporting format questions that were amended at COP5 2 years ago. So the next slide, please. So the reporting format includes part A, which is a basic the general information of the parties and national focal points and so on. And the most important part is part B, which consists of 43 questions. And these questions, each of these questions may start with question yes and no, and then if yes, the reporting format says, if yes, please explain the measures and so on. So there's a logic in the reporting questions, and the online reporting tool follows the logic of the reporting question and the reporting format questions. Next slide, please. So yes, so for there are some compound yes or no questions. For example, does the party have something? And yes is data, and yes is no data, or no. And for these options, if you choose one of these options, you may be prompted to provide more further information. So the next slide, please. So at COP6, as I said earlier, the COP6 earlier this year, this month, adopted adopted decision on national reporting, in which the COP invited parties to achieve high reporting rate, and also emphasized timely submission in view of the need for the ICC and effectiveness evaluation. Also, the COP decision, one COP decision requests parties to submit dental amalgam phase-out plan and review of the implementation of Article 7, which is about ASGA. And also, the COP requests the Secretariat to integrate relevant decisions adopted by the COP and present the future meetings into the guidance, ensuring that national reporting remains consistent with the updated requirements. And the COP7 is expected to review the proposed amendment to the reporting format, and which will be used in the future reporting. So since I see Richard back, I hand it over to Richard to start from Article 3.
Thank you very much, Aisaku. Just to make sure that I am technically back, just checking my audio. Can you hear me? Okay, great.
All
Thank
good,
you.
Richard. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then just to reintroduce myself, and my apologies, my name is Richard Gutierrez, Program Management Officer responsible for national reporting. Apologize for the technical interruption there. But just to continue now into the substance of the reporting, national reporting discussion. Now, Article 3, as you will note, this is just an overview. We will not discuss the specific article provisions, but just to provide you with an overview of what Article 3 provides. It contains the control measures to limit global supply on mercury. So as you will note in the slide in front of you, there are 4 bullets that cover the major issues under Article 3 that's going to be reflected in the reporting format. First is on primary mercury mines that must be phased out. Also, no new mines need to be no new mines to be established. Article 3.5a, parties must endeavor to identify stocks and sources of mercury. 3.5b on chloralkali production phase out, and then Article 3.6 on trade. Next slide, please. Now, the next slide you will note the questions 3.1 and 3.2. These correspond to Articles 3, Paragraph 3, and Paragraph 4 of Article 3. This is on primary mercury mining. As Aisaku provided in the overview earlier, the text in red reflects the reporting format amendments, which was decided upon by Decision 5/13. And you will note in the slide in front of you in red, the 2 yes options have these sort of qualifiers. One is the primary mercury mining with available data, and another yes with primary mercury mining with no available data. Now, this the primary mining with no available data corresponds to the request by Decision 5/3 for parties to provide information on primary mercury mining, regardless of whether it's formal, informal, unrecognized, or illegal. So for parties that are encountering that type of issue, you can click on yes and then indicate the challenges you might have in Part E of the ORT. Next slide, please. The following slide, you will note, now corresponds to stocks and sources, corresponding to Article 3.5a. Now, the major changes, the major amendments to this question is, as you will note, first, there is a recognition of stocks and versus sources, and this has been reflected in categories A and B. Now, you will also note that in the response options, there's again certain qualifiers. Yes, with new data, also to be selected by parties reporting for the first time, and yes, endeavored to and indicates same stocks as reported in the previous report. Now, these 2 options reflect the fact that we are now on our third on several reporting cycles, and that most of you, all of you, are reporting on your endeavors. And so this option facilitates and eliminates repetition of information, especially if there is no new data to be reported. Next slide, please. Now, please also take note, although we do recognize that this Decision 6/1 adopted the updates to the guidance on the identification of individual stocks of mercury. So this is, if you are inclined, if you are still in the preparation of your national report, please take a look. I don't know what the guidance are, and especially to help you if you're unsure on what endeavor means. For example, these are actions that may assist parties in understanding their obligation to endeavor identify stocks of mercury. You have the following bullets, and these are covered in decisions in UNEP COP 6/26. Next slide, please. Now, on this slide, we focus on the amendments to question 3.4 on chlor-alkali facilities. Here, you will note the amendments are very straightforward. Two options on no. No, first, no has determined it has no excess mercury, and then another option for no, it has not made a determination. So this amendment recognizes the challenges faced by some parties, and also to distinguish further if there has been no determination or has not made a determination, meaning the work of determining excess mercury is still in progress. Note at the bottom, there's a technical guidance on ESM of mercury waste referred to in paragraph 3 of Article 11, and you will find the particular guidance document in the link below. Next slide, please. Here, now we go on trade. As you will note, I direct your attention to the middle of the slide. With regard to the four response options to question 3.5, the amendment under 5/13 recognizes two response options for no. So first, no is the no export took place, and then no consent was not given. As you will note, the options recognize two things. The first no recognizes that no export has taken place, as the option correctly states. And more importantly, the second no, consent was not given, underscores the presence or possibility of trade not conforming with the convention. And in this case, if there is such an issue or illegal trade that occurred, parties can now click on that particular option, so it's more clear in their responses if there was such a trade that occurred. Note as well, MC 5/2, paragraph 2, encouraged parties to provide more information, if any, in their next national reports, including measures to prevent exports which are not in compliance with the convention. Next slide, please. Continuing on the trade discussion on Articles 3, 6 to 10. Now, if the party answered yes and the party has submitted whether exported to parties or non-parties, the party needs to submit copies of the consent forms to the Secretariat. Then no further, if the party has submitted these consent forms, no information is needed. If the party has not previously provided such copies, it is recommended that it do so. Otherwise, please provide, the parties are requested to provide, suggested provide other suitable information showing the relevant requirements of paragraph 6 of Article 6 have been met. Now, note further that if the party answered no, consent was not given, please provide information on the trade, whether it's illegal or it's not in compliance with the convention, and the challenges met by the parties in meeting the requirements of paragraph 6 and 7 of Article 3. Next slide, please. Continuing still on trade. Note, decision MC 1/2 adopted the guidance on completing the forms under Article 3. And just as an update, decision MC /3 adopted updates to the guidance on the use of forms on import and export of mercury. This is, again, one of the more recent updates that do not necessarily apply for this reporting period, but we're calling your attention to this if you want to take a look at this particular decision, and the link is available below. Note as well, under Article 17.4, each party designates a national focal point, and this was covered by Aisaku earlier, including with regard to the consent of submission of the consent with the consent of reporting. So this is an important role the national focal points play, not just in terms of reporting, but also in the consent of importing parties under Article 3. Next slide, please. And I believe this is coming up for Aisaku. I pass the floor on to Aisaku to cover Article 4, the Article 4 section. Aisaku.
Thank you, Richard. So now I'm presenting the questions on Article 4, mercury added products. And before going into the questions, this is an overview of the obligations of the parties under Article 4. So the Article 4 includes 4 obligations on multilateral products. The first one is not allow the manufacturer, import, and or export multilateral products listed in Part 1 of Annex A, which is phase out. The second is take measures for the multilateral products listed in Part 2 of Annex A. And the currently Part 2 only includes the dental amalgam. So there's a phase down measures of for dental amalgam. And the third is take measures to prevent incorporation into assembled products of Mercury products listed in Part 1 of Annex A. And the fourth, discourage the manufacture and distribution in commerce of Mercury products not covered by any known use before the convention. So the reporting formats includes questions, a question for each of these applications. Next, please. So for phase out, this is the part of the Annex A part 1, and the list is a very long one. So it stops at the fluorescent lamps, but it also includes the biocide, pesticide, or cosmetics, and measuring devices, and also COP6 decided to add dental amalgam with a phase-out date of 2034 in this Annex A Part 1, so which is one of the major achievements of COP6. The next slide, please. So with regard to the phasing down of the dental amalgam, the Annex A Part 2 was amended a number of times. The original Annex A Part 2 included 9 measures, from which the parties are obliged to take 2 measures. And then COP4 added 2 mandatory measures on the use of the dental amalgam in encapsulated form, and also on the use of dental amalgam for children and pregnant breastfeeding women. The second amendment happened at COP5 in 2023 to add 1 additional measures, and COP6 earlier this month also added one measure, as well as the adding dental amalgam to Part 1. The next slide, please. So this is the original 9 measures. I'm going to go into details, but the parties are expected to take more than 2 measures, or 2 measures or more among these 9 measures. The next slide is about the COP4 amendment. COP4 and COP5 amendment. The upper box is the COP4 amendment, which is about the use of bulk form or encapsulated form, and secondly, to exclude and not allow the use by children or pregnant or breastfeeding women. COP5 amendment obliged parties to submit to the Secretariat an action plan or report, or if the parties have not yet phased out dental amalgam. Next slide. So the question 4.1 is about the measures to phase out the multilateral products in Annex A Part 1, and the added text is the addition at COP5 amendment of the format. So the question 4.1 is, did you take measures to phase out? And if yes, the parties are to provide the information on these measures. The next slide is about question 4.3, and I skipped 4.2 because 4.2 is about the use of alternative approach, which is described in paragraph 2 of Article 4. But as far as we understand, only one party has notified the Secretariat on the use of that approach. So the question 4.2 should be only relevant for that party. So the question 4.3 is about the dental amalgam, and the text in red was the addition. So this is about the COP4 amendment about the exclusion or disallowment of the dental amalgam in bulk form and its use for children and pregnant breastfeeding women. So you are expected to tick the box that applies. So if you have already implemented both measures, you please check tick the two boxes. It is not only one choice. You should be the system should allow the ticking two boxes. And this question have not incorporated the COP5 amendment, which requested the parties to submit national action plans or report, or if they have not phased out the amalgam. We have put explanation in the reporting guidance that if parties would like to report on that, please use part E of for that purpose. And to note is that COP6 requested parties to submit national action plan or report, or either for this reporting round, which is by the end of this year, or the next reporting round, which is by the end of 2027. The next slide, please. So the question 4.4 is about the third obligation, and the red text was added to the options. The next slide is about question 4.5, which is about the manufacture and the fourth obligation that I mentioned earlier, and the COP agreed to amend the format as indicated in red to divide the no option and also added an option after if parties answered no. So this is it for the Article 4. And next slide. From next slide, I think we are going to the manufacturing processes that uses Mercury. So as similarly as Article 4, Article 5 includes four obligations for the parties. The first is to phase out the manufacturing processes listed in Part 1 of Annex B, and the second is to take measures for other processes that are listed in Part 2 of Annex B. And then the third, not allowed use of mercury compounds in a facility that did not exist prior to the date of entry into force. And the fourth, discourage the development of any facility using other manufacturing processes in which mercury compounds are intentionally used that did not exist before. So the next slide is the question in which the for which POP made amendment. So the question 5.1 about the existence of facility is skipped, and also 5.2 is about phase out, which did not change, which was not amended. So this is not included. But to note is that COP5 amended Annex B and added the polyurethane production into the part Annex B part 1. But that amendment entered into force earlier this year, so it is outside the reporting period. So this is not included in the question for 5.2. Question 5.3 is about the Annex B Part 2 for which the Annex list various measures to be taken on on those processes, and there's one amendment to the reporting format in red. If no, please explain, including any challenges which is encountered. So I think this is it for the Article 5. So I hand it back to Richard to the top.
Thank you very much, Aisaku. Now, if you can, Shariful, if you can kindly turn to there. Thank you. So now let's touch base. Let's cover Article 7. And before we dive into the 5/3, Decision 5/3 amendments, let's, I'm sorry, before we go into the amendments, let's just quickly go over the Article 7 obligations, as it will help both in looking at the amendments and as well as the COP6 updates. So the basic obligation under Article 7 is that it applies to artisanal and small-scale gold mining, and where mercury is used both in the mining and processing of the gold. So, now, parties, if this is happening in the territory of the party, party must take steps to reduce, if feasible, to eliminate the use of mercury. The next obligation under Article 7 covers that when a party finds that these activities are more than insignificant, the party must notify the Secretariat of such findings. And then once the notification is sent to the Secretariat, the party is then needs to develop a national action plan in accordance with Annex C. Not only must it develop, of course, the party must implement the national action plan, submit the plan to the Secretariat, and at the third bullet at the very bottom of the screen, provide a review of progress and include such a review in its report under Article 21. So that's the sort of the overview of the obligation. Let's look at what the what 5/13 has amended. When you look at it, it's pretty straightforward. So this is in question 7.2, as the party in the term determined and notified the Secretariat, et cetera, et cetera. As you will note in the middle of the screen, there are two response options. And the only amendment made under this particular question is that if a party responds no, that it has not determined, has not notified the Secretariat that ASGM is insignificant, the party is requested to proceed to question 7.5, which is about international cooperation with others, entities on this issue. Previously, parties were directed to the next section of the ORT, and the Conference of Party made that clarification to proceed to 7.5. So it's a very small item, but significant in the sense that it does provide an opportunity for parties who have no ASGM, but are cooperating with other parties that do have ASGM in order to create and address and help in measures addressing ASGM in the region or with the partner country. Now, next slide. Let's move on to the major sort of item affecting Article 7 coming out of COP6. And this is with regard to the review of implementation of Article 7. Now, at the top of the slide, you will see a table. And what we've done here is to essentially tabulate and make it easier to identify when the particular instances where ASGM is occurring and how and when to report. First, let's cover if a party finds that there is insignificant, meaning that it's not more than insignificant. If there's a situation as such in the party's territory, or there has been a determination that it's more than insignificant, but the party has not yet notified the Secretariat, or that its NAP is still under development and has not been completed or submitted, parties are still required to report. And that is, you can find in question 7.1 of the full national report, where parties are asked, have you taken steps to, et cetera, et cetera. So there's still a need to report, and that will be found in questions 7.1 of the full national report. The next element is when a party has submitted the NAP and begun implementing its NAP, then depending on when it was submitted, et cetera, then the review of implementation of Article 7 also kicks in. So please take note, just because the party has not yet submitted an app, but if there is more than insignificant, or even if it's insignificant, but there is ASGM in your territory where Mercury is used, there is an obligation to report, and that's covered in question 7.1. Now, what are the items that COP6 adopted with regard to the review of the implementation of Article 7? You will find the following bullets in the lower part of the slide, essentially the general elements that the new updated sections contain. For example, the status of NAP implementation, progress on mandatory and operational strategies, et cetera, et cetera. A key item that I'd like to cover in the subsequent slide will be the provisional guide on the effective engagement and participation of Indigenous peoples, which is found in document mc.cop6 in 11. That's still available on the convention webpage. Now, here, and then also Annex C reporting template. If you can move to the next slide, please, Shariful. Now, the next slide, you will see an example, sort of a screenshot of what the reporting template is for the review. So if you're completed a review, for example, and you want to report on the results of the review, this is the template guide that you can use in reporting your review in your full national report. As you can quickly see in the screenshot in front of you, you have to the left the Annex C elements, and then it's broken down into timelines, status of implementation. You can see that at the top part of the header of the slide, progress, completion percentage, actions taken, challenges and delays that has been encountered. So this table essentially simplifies your work as a national focal point in reflecting the data from the review onto the national report. And there's going to be, you can attach this or you can include this in Part E of the current full national reporting format of the ORT if you have completed the national, if you've completed the review of your Article 7 implementation on, especially on ASGM. So I hope that is of help. So just to repeat, whether you have finished the NAP, if you haven't finished the NAP or you're still developing it, you still have an obligation to, parties still have an obligation to report under Article 21, particularly question 7.1 of the ORT. And if you've completed your NAP and you're subject to review, you now have guidance on how to prepare the review, both in how to prepare it and reporting it. Now let's move on to the next slide. And this is sort of an element that was introduced in the new section. And this is on the draft provisional guide on the effective engagement and participation of Indigenous peoples and local communities. So this is this guide was was supported through by support from the government of Australia and Norway. It's based on a desk review on similar engagement protocols, and this was posted on the convention website early this year. So the value of this is that if you're conducting your review, please take a look at the draft regional guide on effective engagement and participation of Indigenous peoples and local communities, and integrate that in your review and engage especially Indigenous peoples where small-scale gold mining is occurring in their territories or affecting their territories. This would be a good opportunity to look at the guide and integrate that in the review process. So from Article 7, we move on to Article 10. Next slide, please. So Article 10, quick overview, applies to the interim storage of mercury and mercury compounds. It's not waste. Decision MC/26 adopted the guidance. The guidelines on ESM, environmentally sound interim storage of mercury other than mercury waste. To the right is a screenshot of the document, and below that document is available on the website. Next slide, please. Here, you will see very straightforward what the COP decided to include is essentially to provide an explanation to the no option and to the do not know option. This provides an opportunity for the COP to assess why the no, why a party responded no on their obligation under Article 10, as well as why they do not know yet the status of environmentally sound interim storage in their territory. And that was these are the key main additions to question 10.1 from 5/13. I stop there, and the next will be on mercury waste, and I hand the mic over back to Aisaku. Aisaku, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. So there are two questions on Article 11, but before going into that, I will provide an overview of the provisions. Article 11, paragraph 3, provides for three obligations of the parties on mercury waste. Environmental sound management, the secondly, about recovery, recycling, reclamation, and the third is about the transport across national boundaries. And there are questions on each, or there are response options for each of these three obligations. The next slide is an explanation of the definition of mercury waste. And there are three categories of mercury waste. The first one is mercury consisting of mercury compounds, which is basically mercury or mercury compounds themselves that become waste. And this is the more challenging to manage than other two types. The second type is waste containing mercury compounds, and it is defined as the end of life mercury added products. And the third category is the waste contaminated is with mercury compounds, and COP5 decided on the threshold of 15 milligram per kilogram, and also it provided for alternative approach. So with this understanding, the next slide is about the question 11.1, and basically the question is whether parties have taken measures to outline Article 11, paragraph 3, and the format was amended to divide the yes answer to three in line with the three obligations: the environmental sound management, reclamation, recovery, and the transport across the international borders. So if you have taken all three measures, you can tick 3 boxes. Again, this is not a single choice answer. You will be able to tick as many 1, 2, or 3 boxes. The next question is 11.2. This is a recurrent question also for the short national report. And this question is about the final disposal facility for waste consisting of mercury compounds, which is type 1. And this particular question is because this type of waste is more challenging to manage. And the question was amended to provide options if parties have if there's any facility outside the party's territory that is accessible to parties. So next slide. I think this is it from on mercury waste. So back to Richard.
Thank you very much, Eisaku. So on Article 16 on health aspects, so if you will recall, the parties under Article 16 are encouraged to promote strategies and programs to identify and protect populations at risk, adopt science-based educational and preventive programs on occupational exposure, promote appropriate healthcare services, and establish and strengthen as appropriate institutional health professional capacities. Just to note as well, the WHO has put together a strategic planning document for this, and it is available in the link below. Now, moving to the pertinent COP amendment. Next slide, please. You will note in Article 16, Health Aspects, question 16.2, the COP has clarified question 6.2 as follows. Have any measures been taken to protect human health in accordance with Article 16 beyond the provision of information to the public on exposure to mercury referred to in question 6.1? So the text in red provides an explanation to some sense what 16.1 covers and what question 16.2 covers as well. So question 16.2, as clarified by the COP, goes beyond the provisions of information requested in 16.1. Essentially, anything that's not covered in 16.1, you can respond and add it in 16.2. Next slide, please. The next slide on Article 17 is also reminiscent or applies to Article 18 and 19. And these amendments essentially, it's not a substantive change, but the main change is to provide parties with a list of what they need to report on based on the respective articles. If you will recall, in the previous versions of question 17.1, 18.1, and 19.1, it does not, it's just a yes or no response. And then it's a free text in which parties are allowed to answer. To facilitate data management and analysis, the COP has to, modify this and follow the structure of the article, respective articles themselves, where it enumerates the options, where the parties can simply check. Once you're at the ORT, you will simply check which of these elements has been covered, and that reflects the main changes to Article 17, 18, and 19. So again, essentially, the enumerations in the respective articles were adopted, were added to the respective questions to facilitate the response, facilitate parties responding to each question. All right, I think that wraps it up for the reporting format questions. We move to number 5, guidance on completing the national report. So the slide in front of you shows to the left is a screenshot of the amended of the guidelines annexed to decision 5/13. As you will note, it was adopted. It adopted the reporting guidance and requested the Secretary to reflect into the guidance the reporting format. Reflect the guidance reflect the reporting guidance to the amended reporting format questions. So these are now included here, and as the links have been also shared in the chat by our colleagues here at the Secretariat. So please take a look at that. Now, just a quick note on the guidance for completing the national reports. First, The purpose of the guidance is to clarify the information being sought. It's not intended as a manual on how to implement the articles of the convention. So the reporting guidance follows the structure of MC1/8, 4/8, and 5/13, and we will be in the process of implementing as well for 6/13. Now, please consult specifically Part B, which is structured question by question. Also note that in the ORT, we have added a reference to each of the reporting guidance as elements, or reporting guidance to each question. The full reporting guidance is available at the link shown in the slide in front of you. Now, note, if disaggregated data for female children, indigenous peoples, as well as local communities, please add that information in the information box provided in Part E of your report. Okay, I think that's it in terms of the guidance, and I think we can, we're on the question and answer portion. Please, sorry, there you go. Sorry, I forgot to prompt my colleague to show this particular slide. Again, to note, the guidance is meant to clarify, not intended as a manual on how to implement the articles and obligations of the convention. Now I pass on the floor to my colleague, Anna, who will facilitate the question and answer portion. Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Richard. I think that we covered like the main challenging parts of the convention and the amendments. And I'm checking the chat and I don't see any questions written there, but I would invite, oh yes, from Elena Limberidi, very prompt question that I can read out loud if you wish, from the Zero Mercury Working Group. Thank you, Secretariat. Hello all. A kind reminder, following COP6 decision to ensure including in the reporting specific information on mercury added cosmetics, and quoting parties without national legislation or other measures or otherwise facing challenges in implementing their obligations regarding mercury added cosmetics to inform the Convention Secretariat and to consider the application of Articles 14 or 15 to their situation. It will be important to know in detail the legislation available or not in each country and what it includes: manufacturing, trade, sales, including online sales, as well as it is enforced, etc. Like that, it would be easier to identify needs and to see where one can help and how. I would think that this can also go under Part C. Thank you. Richard, Isaku, do you want to reply or comment on what Elena Limberidi, Setimo from Zero Mercury Working Group has just put on the chat?
Yes, thank you, Anna, and thank you, Elena, for this very important question. And as she points out, COP6 adopted a decision on cosmetics in which the Secretariat was requested to look into the party submission or national reports to put together a report on the challenges in phasing out mercury added cosmetics. And since this is a new decision and the COP didn't discuss the amendment to the reporting format, as Elena says, our understanding is that any information challenges is to be reported in Part C, or maybe if there's any further information, parties may wish to use Part E. But we will look into the information reported in Part C or E, or even to the question on the question 4.1, Part B 4.1, to put together the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Eisaku, and Elena says thank you. Yes, but Florian, I see that you have your hand raised, so please go ahead and say your question.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you. I just finished to post it in the chat. I was just asking if there is a possibility to ask parties to clarify if they have taken measures, prohibitive measures, so like excluding or not allowing amalgam use for children, or recommending against. We see there is a significant difference between these two measures, and it would be very interesting to learn which measures the parties have taken and where they could clarify what they've done. If there is a possibility to add a button, please specify or please clarify, or if it should go in another section.
Thanks, Florian. Richard or Isaku?
I have to check with Richard or check with Anna whether the question 4.3a 4. Yeah, I think question 4.3a includes if yes, please provide information on the measures. But maybe I think 4.3b also has that option. So if the party indicates that they have taken measures to not to exclude, not allow, or recommend against, the parties can explain the measures in the narrative. Thank you.
Yeah, if I may jump in, Isaku, yes, just to confirm your explanation, just take note that and thank you, Florian, for the question. So in the online reporting tool, when you have options to check, yes, for example, in part B of question 4.3, so when a party clicks on yes or clicks on yes excluded, not allowed by taking, et cetera, there will appear after that, especially if the party checked the box, an information text or an information box where parties can provide additional information or provide further clarity on the measures taken. So there is that option in the online reporting tool that will appear. So just take note again that that's on the online reporting tool, but when you look at the guidance, it's not there. You won't see it there, or you won't see it in the national reporting format. But it is that sort of interface that the Secretariat works on in improving the online reporting tool to be able to translate the text, the written text, into digital format to facilitate reporting by the parties. I hope that is of help. Back to you, Aisaku or Anna.
Okay, seems that Florian is satisfied with the reply. Checking if there are more questions, but for now I see that there's none, and yeah, I can see a question. I mean, a hand raised from Jugo Sivale. Sorry if I don't pronounce. So I'm giving you the floor, so you can pose your question and mention your constituency. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a minor one. I saw on the screen that the presentation will be transcribed, but I wanted to find out if the video recording will be live on YouTube or on your website, because my internet was breaking, so I missed most of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jo. That's an easy question to take. And yes, now in fact, The video is being live streamed on YouTube, and just right after the session, it will appear here. I'm gonna paste the link on. Uh, I see that my colleague Shariful was faster than me. So yeah, he pasted the YouTube link and also all the presentation slides, and this video that now is embedded on the website will be available like right after the session for you to consult and recheck any information that you were missing. Is all good?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. I see for now there are no more other questions or raised hands on the screen. So Richard, you want me to go through, like you said, like some tips, but I think that I've given everything. Now I think it's the time that we really encourage our national focal points to log in, and if you have like any further questions in addition to the information that will be everything posted on the website, that we are ready like to help should you have any like technical question or issue like logging into the system with the password. So we are like really ready to support you and encouraging like to complete and finalize your reports in due time. But Richard, over to you if you have anything else to say.
Oh yes, Anna, thank you very much. You've actually touched on 2 points that I wanted to sort of highlight while we're waiting for others to sort of gather their thoughts and ask questions. And this is with regard to the login credentials and the national focal point designation. Often we receive questions. First, we often receive questions from national focal points that are missing their login credentials. So please check your spam folder, and look for Minamata Secretariat address. It might have ended up there. And once you find it there, please unblock us so that we, for future updates, you can readily get all of the information that's available to you. Now, another reason why some national focal points, or at least some parties, do not get their login credentials. We often note that there is a change in national focal point designation. So the Secretariat only emails these credentials to national focal points that have been formally designated by the party. So if there's any change in the designation of national focal points, or if that national focal point leaves, we, the Secretariat, will continue to be using that email address. So please check first our website, and if the national focal point email address, or the national focal point and the email address are updated, or what is reflected in our website is the old one, please let us know if there are any changes so we can update it, and so we can also properly send the login credentials to the correct email address. Another sort of reminder for the national focal points present as well is that there are times the Secretariat receives several national focal point designations. Since can only create personalized national focal point credentials for one, we will need to confirm with the party which national focal point will be the designated recipient of the information. So if it's a case for you in your situation where you have more than one national focal point, please get in touch with the Secretariat so we can confirm which of the uh, designated focal points will be the recipient of the information, particularly the login credentials. So those are the 3 reminders I have for the national focal points. I can't stress enough what you've said, Anna. Please, we're available, especially during the run up to the deadline, to support you and respond to all of your questions, both technical and substantive, with regard to the national reporting format, or the ORT, or to the guidance. We're here and happy to help. We also encourage you to reach out to us and work on your national reports and beat the deadline. Historically, we've seen peaks of submission towards the end, well, which is fine and good, but we would encourage you to avoid the rush, submit sooner, so that if you encounter any technical difficulties along the way, we can be of we can help you in a more relaxed pace and less stressful environment to respond to your questions and technical issues you might encounter along the way in submitting your national report. So I end there. I turn the floor back to you, Anna, if there are any new questions.
Thanks, Richard, but I don't see like any hand raised, no more questions on the chat. So this might mean that everyone has all the information clear, so they are ready to keep on working on the national reports and complete this obligation under the Minamata Convention on Mercury to keep making Mercury history. So back to you or Isaku for if you have any closing remarks, and we stand ready to support our national focal points. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Anna, for facilitating the Q&A. And as we close this session, first, let me just, on behalf of the team, the Secretariat team on national reporting, thank you so much to everyone who's attended this post-COP6. We look forward to supporting you and helping you cover your national report or submit your national report. And as we have, and Isaku has stated at the start, this presents an important information for the effectiveness evaluation group, and also not just for the effectiveness evaluation group, for the implementation and compliance committee as well. Noting fully well results of COP6, that the COP7 will be happening in June of 2027. It is important that we receive early submissions to be able to compile, analyze, and consolidate the national reports for use by the COP, by the EEG, and by the ICC. Thank you again very much for all of your support, and we look forward to supporting you in your work in completing and submitting the national report. On behalf of the Secretariat team, we bid you good day, good evening, and we look forward to receiving your reports very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.